All right, let me now introduce a very special guest. Gophers cornerback commitment from Texas, Mike Gerald. How are we doing today?
Good, man. Everything going good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So something I always find interesting with recruits and top athletes in high school. Since you, I guess, got to the point you are now, obviously with a lot of interest from a lot of different Division One schools, was
Mhm.
there a point in middle school or high school, or if it was a camp or maybe a game that it kind of you realized that you had the talent and capability to play at the next level, or is that something you've always had a self-belief in yourself?
Definitely. I say I always had a self belief in myself. You know, because I didn't actually get my first offer until around like February. So I just knew like after I had a great junior season and all that, I knew my time was gonna come.
Yeah, so I guess did you play any other sports growing up? Were you always football? Did you play
I
baseball or anything
played
like that?
basketball. I played basketball and I ran track.
Okay. Um, so you're obviously a cornerback, and I played offensive line in high school, and I know when you're in high school, you kind of talk with your friends and everything about what's the toughest position to play. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I always think that cornerback might be that because it's obviously takes a lot of athleticism to be able to guard someone backpedaling the whole time. So would you kind of agree with that, I guess?
Definitely, I would say cornerback or probably cornerback and quarterback. They go to
Yeah.
me. They go one way in the hardest positions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because quarterback, obviously, it's so mental and you have to keep
Hmm.
track of so many stuff. But corner, I think, like athleticism and skill, it's one of
Yep.
the toughest in football. So obviously now you're coming to Minnesota, but Minnesota is known for hockey. It's the state of hockey. But in Texas, you guys are obviously the state of high school football,
Hmm.
and the games are huge, and it's just a different kind of lifestyle there when it comes to high school football. So now that you're coming to Minnesota, how would you describe? Obviously, all you know is playing high school football in Texas, but how would you describe how like important that is to the state and how like meaningful it is to play high school football in the state of Texas?
It's definitely a lot different. Like comparing Texas football to other states, it's a complete difference with like the speed of the game, the competition, and like you said, Texas that is known for high school football, so everybody take high school football serious down here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with all the TV shows and movies, it looks that
Hmm.
way. But so now I guess in your Minnesota recruitment, obviously you committed now almost 2 months ago, a few weeks ago. What I guess ultimately drew you to Minnesota to commit to the Gophers compared to any other school?
I'll probably say the culture of the program and the relationship that the coaches have with each other, and also the relationship that the coaches have built with me as far as going on with my recruitment since they had offered me, and they just showed me a lot of love out there. They treated me like I was family when I got up there on my visit, and I felt like that was the place that I would be at.
Yeah, so obviously when it comes to coaches, PJ Fleck has a very interesting personality compared to a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
coaches. What were, I guess, your first impressions of meeting him and learning about the culture of Minnesota?
When I first met Coach Fleck, he had a lot of energy. That's one thing I can say about Coach Fleck. He got a lot of energy that other coaches don't have. And he has this his set goals for the team and mentality set for the team and the future of the team. And he's doing a real good job with that program.
Yeah, so you took your official visit during the Summer Splash event, which is something that has become popular under Fleck with the Gophers. I guess if you're comfortable sharing, what did your official visit look like that weekend? Because I know there's a lot of different things that take place. And I guess what, like day to day, was your visit looking like?
So we got out there Friday. We got out there on a Friday. We got to the hotel. They picked us up from the airport. We got to the hotel. They had the room decorated with stuff for the players and all of that. We went to, I think we went to lunch first. We went to lunch, had a whole bunch of stuff set out for us, cameras everywhere. And then later we went to dinner, and we went to like a steakhouse, but they had all types of different food and stuff there. The next day, the Saturday, we went to a lake. We went to Lake Minnetonka, and we got to play there on the lake. Coach Fleck actually took us on his boat around the lake, and we looked at all the houses and stuff like that. And then we went to another dinner later that night, and it was another steakhouse. They had the steak where they bring it around to all the tables and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the next day was kind of breakfast, and then we went to the facility again, got to talk to Coach Fleck one-on-one, and after that we kind of just went back home.
So when you're on your visit like that, how, I guess, important was it for you to build a relationship with a lot of the other like recruits there?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess how did that kind of go, and how close have you guys gotten since?
Actually, when I went on a visit, I want to say me and maybe a couple other guys were other guys that weren't committed at the time. So also we had a host, which were current players that were on the team. So most of the time we were all together, and we got to talk about like where we're from, ask about why they committed to Minnesota, stuff, things like that. And just really got to connect with each other, build a relationship with each other. And then since I've committed, we text on group chats on social media and things like that. So we're really starting to come together, and we're looking forward to going back up there next weekend.
Yeah. Do you so you have another visit next weekend?
Yes, they have a camp, and then also a thing they're having with the players that has committed already.
Okay. Yeah, so then obviously on your visit to and in your recruitment, you probably got to know the new quarterback coach and co-DC Nick Monroe, which is he's obviously new to the program. How would you describe him as a coach, and kind of how was your relationship with him in your recruitment?
Coach Monroe, he a real cool guy. He'll FaceTime me here. And when he was recruiting me, when they offered me, he'll FaceTime me like every day. We'll have some good conversations and stuff like that. And he got a lot of energy too. He real swaggy, low key. Like he keep it cool. He keep it at the age, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. So when you're getting recruited, obviously the visit and the relationships you build with the coaches mean a lot. But for you, how much did the Gophers' recent success on the field and producing NFL level defensive backs with Terrell Smith, Antoine Winfield, and Justin Wally, who will be in the NFL soon enough, how much of an impact did that like success affect your recruitment?
That definitely was one of the reasons why I did commit, because seeing the success that the program has had in producing defensive backs, I'm looking at it as I get that opportunity as well as playing through that program, get a chance to go to the next level.
So you mentioned that you had a couple hosts on your visit. Who were they specifically? What players were they?
Well, each recruit had one host. My host was his name is Aiden Gooseby. He's one of the DBs that's already on the team.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess comparing your Gophers visit to other schools that were interested, what was the differences between them compared to your other schools in recruitment?
Definitely the difference in the size of the school, the facilities. Like I went on visits to schools that were in smaller conferences. So going to Minnesota, Big Ten conference, everything's a lot bigger and things like that. So it was a whole lot smoother visit. Food, they treated us real good with all the food. All the facilities were nice. Everything was just a whole lot bigger and nicer.
Yeah, the Minnesota campus is kind of a lot the first time. It's a big
Mhm.
campus and it's a big school. So obviously being from Texas, Minnesota has a little different climate. Your visit was obviously when the Minnesota weather was good. Have you ever, I guess, seen snow before? Have you ever been to Minnesota before? What's that shock gonna be like? I guess your first winter in Minnesota.
Actually, that visit was my first time ever going to Minnesota. So here in Texas, we recently had snow. I want to say maybe about a year ago, but normally when it gets cold, it doesn't snow. It's more so just like ice on the roads and stuff.
Yeah.
So cold weather it's gonna be probably it's hard for me to adapt to. And it might take a minute because down here in Texas, it's always hot, known for its
Yeah.
heat down.
Yeah, that's one thing since Coach Fleck took over with Minnesota, he's increased the recruiting in the South a little bit, and I always
Mhm.
find it interesting because I mean I don't want to make you look forward to something bad, but I bet it'll hit you, it'll surprise you a little bit in the winter, but
That's
it's certainly an interesting thing. Yeah.
that's what I've heard. It get real cold up there. That's what I heard.
Yeah, yeah, so I guess that's all I got. Or I guess one last question I just thought of. How would you describe your game to someone who's never seen you play before? Or are there any guys at the next level that you like to watch and pick stuff from?
I like to watch Passer Tan. I also watch a couple safeties. I watch Jalen Petrie. I watch Derwin James. I watch AJ Terrell. Couple guys like them.
And then I guess one other question I have for you. So the Gophers this season and last season, for recruiting in the cycle, they got a lot of Minnesota guys in both cycles. Like they recruited the state of Minnesota very well, and coming from out of state, is that something that you kind of like see that you're like, oh, if a lot of guys in Minnesota want to stay home, that might make me feel like it's a desirable place to be, or is that something you even look at all?
No, I actually haven't checked that out, but I do know that a couple of guys that are committed in my class are mainly from up north, but I haven't. Other than that, I haven't really looked too much into that.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll just wrap it up there then. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and
Mm,
best of luck the rest of the way.
no problem. All right, thank you.